Hey guys, Blood here. Now that I'm enlisted in faction warfare alongside the Galente Federation, it was time for me to face my first challenge, acquiring a new ship. For the purposes of this series, I wanted to limit myself to making ISK in only ways that were available to me in faction warfare. This means that while starter missions are a great option to get some initial ISK, I decided not to do them, and instead waited until after I'd gotten to LowSec to try and acquire my money. The main challenge this presents is that in order to capture faction warfare complexes, you need at least a T1 frigate. Having only my rookie ship limited the ways in which I could make money. I set my sights on an executioner, which were available on the market for about 500,000 ISK. Now 500,000 ISK is less than most Tech 2 drones, and I could have easily sent money from one of my main characters across to this character. But I decided to try and make some money with the tools that were available to me. At first, I tried to move around LowSec and scavenge from the activities of other players. I was looking for forgotten drones, wrecks of NPCs that had been killed in asteroid belts, or potentially the remnants from a fight. This, however, proved much more difficult than I anticipated. I spent the first couple hours just roaming around, descanning asteroid belts looking for wrecks. I even on occasion ran into other pilots who saw me as an easy kill. After determining that the pace at which I was gaining money was a little bit too slow for my liking, I decided to look at what other resources I had. With every rookie ship, you're also given a civilian combat turret and a civilian mining laser. So I set my sights on some rocks. Though the pace of mining was more effective than my scavenging had been, it was still a little bit slow. After about an hour of mining, I had increased my net worth by about 40,000 ISK. While I was determined to keep mining until I got to that 500,000 mark, I noticed some conversations going on in militia chat. There was a big fight going on, and it was only a couple systems away from me. So, being the scavenger that I am, I made my way, not to join in the fight, but to pick over the corpses of my fallen comrades. I found where the fighting had been thickest, and started bookmarking the wrecks. I started warping back and forth to check for abandoned loot. I was really only looking for loot that had been abandoned because it was of low value, like shield extenders or extra drones. But I was extremely lucky to find the wreck of a logistics ship. It was fitted with expensive remote shield repairers, and it seemed like most of them had dropped. I quickly scooped about 70 million worth of discarded modules. This was the score I'd been looking for. I quickly rushed back to a station that I'd been planning to base out of, and after selling my haul, I was able to buy my first executioner. Having overcome my first obstacle, I was ready to join in the war. It was time to start farming.